one of the biggest problems you're going to face as an ambitious person is just staying on course when you're overwhelmed, feeling lazy, or facing a problem that feels or seems impossible. But if you truly want to achieve your goals and your dreams, you can't keep giving up and falling back to day one when things get tough. That's why in this video, I'm going to give you the one tool that help you keep going far past day one, month one, even year one, until you finally achieve the thing that matters the most to you. And this is something I have dealt with so much as an entrepreneur trying to build a following on social media. I remember when I first started out on TikTok, I was building a skateboarding page, which, by the way, did pretty well. Like, I actually got noticed by some very prominent figures in the skateboarding community, but I just didn't know enough about business to capitalize off that. So it ended up being a failure. But I remember in the very beginning, before I even start posting, I was batching videos because I had the strategy of I want to post 7 videos a day, but I didn't want to feel pressured to get that every day, and I didn't want to risk getting sick one day and just not being able to record and then falling behind. So the goal was I'm gonna get 60 videos batched in advance, so then I'll have enough videos so just in case anything happens to me, I can just go into that. Or maybe I just need a week where I take a break, I'll have the videos already there. Now, this took me about 2.5 months to get. It was not easy, but it got done. And I remember the last day where I was like, okay, I'm going to celebrate. And then Monday, I'll start posting and everything will be cool. I go outside. I put my, I have my skateboard because I'm going to skateboard this time without recording myself. I put my phone on my dad's car. I have my speaker on the grass. Music's playing. I'm skateboarding. I'm having a fun time. I'm excited because the next day, I'm going to be posting videos on TikTok. My dad comes out the house. And he's like, hey, yo, Faith, move out of the way. I'm about to drive off. I'm about to, go to the gas station. All right, cool, but whatever we gotta do. So I get my skateboard, I get my speaker, I go off to the side. My dad takes off. I go back to skateboarding and everything's cool. But then I hear a glitch in the speaker. And it's just like, click, click. I'm like, when the Bluetooth is too far away? And I'm like, wait a second, why is it too far? Oh no, I left my phone on my dad's. When I realized what I had done, I grabbed the bike on the front yard and immediately started pedaling for my life, trying to catch my dad who's already turning off out of our neighborhood. I never biked that fast in my life, but it was too late. By the time I got to my dad, or by the time I got onto the street my dad pulled out onto, the phone had fell off and had gotten ran over. So I lost all those videos and like literally boom, just like that. And I freaked out. Like I've never had a panic attack before. But that was the first time I just or like a meltdown. I don't know, but I just shut down. All I know was it was a lot. Now, a couple of days after that event, I was back out shooting video number 1. And then, eventually I got back to the 60 videos. I had everything batched. And I started recording, I started posting, and started growing. But in that moment, it would have been so easy for me to just give up. Like, literally, I could have given up. Do you know how many times, how easy it would have been for someone else to give up in that moment? But I kept going. 2 months of my life I went down the drain. But I kept going. And the reason is because life is hard. Things will get tough. Have you ever heard of Murphy's Law? Murphy's Law says, if anything bad can happen, it will. And as someone with ambition, you are literally signing up for hardship. So you have a choice. You can either recognize that on this path, you're going to face problems. You're going to have to deal with things that you don't want to deal with. Sometimes the work you put on will literally vanish as if you never put in any work at all. You can acknowledge that will happen and say, okay, this is something I really want, so I'm going to keep going, or you can quit. The choice is up to you. So what do you want to see through? Like, think about that. Because for me, I want to see the success of my business. I want to be financially free. I want to be paid helping others improve their productivity. So what do you want to see through? What is it for you? Now, whatever you want to see through, the easiest way to continue working on that, no matter what, is to be very focused on what are the 1 to 3 actions you can take that give you the most progress towards reaching your goals. No more than 3, just 1 to 3, the most leveraged actions you can do. And I'm saying only 1 to 3 because of the 80-20 rule, which states 80% of the things you get comes from 20% of the things you do. So the big things you get in life actually comes from the small things you do. For example, you speak to 80% of your friends 20% of the time. 20% of the clothes you wear 80% of the time. 80% of your success comes from 20% of things you do. You will get 80% of the progress and the 20% of time that's left remaining for it. So like this thing, the 80-20 rule is very prominent, and obviously it's not always clear-cut 80-20, but the idea is that the small things you do that matter the most will lead to the most progress you want. And by only figuring out the 1 to 3 behaviors you want to do and thinking, will this really move the needle for me, you're essentially locking down on the 20% of actions that will give you 80% of the success. So you don't have to work incredibly hard. You gotta be focused when you are working and work on the right things when you're doing it. So once you figure out the 1 to 3 actions you're gonna be doing, run those actions through this formula because you want to make sure you have a plan for doing it. So run it through this formula. I will do behavior at time or event in environment. So run that through it. So for example, I know for YouTube, one of the most important things for YouTube is to record videos. So I'll have content to post. So I can run this through formula and say, I will record videos after my morning walk in my office. So boom, now I know after I walk, I'm gonna come in and record videos in my office. It's that simple. So you wanna make sure you have a plan. It's that simple, but it's very effective. Now, when you've got your plan made, if you roll it on your phone, make that as your wallpaper to serve as a cue, a reminder. Every time you open your phone, you can look at your schedule, and that will influence your behavior. If you wrote it down on some paper, put it somewhere you'll see it twice a day. I have my goal board here. So in the morning, I come in and I look at the goal board. At night, I look at the goal board so I can always remember what I'm working on that matters to me. You want to really make sure that you are seeing what you're working on, that you're reinforcing what matters to you. And then you also make sure that whatever you need to do the behavior is in the environment. So for me, when I walked into this room, after walking and stretching, I saw my tripod already set up. My chair was literally right in front of the tripod. My computer with all the talking points were right on the bed. So all I had to do was sit down, grab my computer, put it in my lap, hit record, and now I'm talking. So you want to make it really easy for you to get started by making sure the things you need for that behavior is in the environment you said. Because I said I was going to be in the office, so why would I not put the equipment for recording in the office? You feel me? So really be aware of that. And I want you to really sit down, like take a break, take a breath, and sit down and think that if you aren't doing the things you said you wrote down, if you aren't being intentional on doing these small things, what are you normally going to spend your time on? What would you be doing if not the thing you said you want to do? So for me, I know making content is important to me. And so there are some days I don't feel like doing it. But I think about, what would I be doing if I wasn't doing this? I would be smoking. I'd be eating junk food. I'd be watching reality TV. I would re-download social media. I would get on the game. I would just waste my time pleasuring myself for entertainment, like finding entertainment. Why? Because when you aren't being intentional, when you aren't trying to do the good habits and trying to work on what matters most to you, there is a decision that must be made. And if no decision is made on your end, you'll fall back to just random decisions you decide on at the moment. So for example, let's say you come home after work and you hadn't made a plan on what to do after work. So now you're making a decision in that moment. How do you feel right now? You feel tired. You feel like you want to just quiet your mind because you've been around people all day. So you'll probably just say, well, in that moment, I'll just watch TV because I don't feel like doing anything else. But imagine if you had wrote down, when you get back from work, you're going to go for a walk. You're going to hoop. Well, then you'll be more inclined to do that thing because you're not making a decision at a moment. You already made a decision. Now you're just following it out. So hopefully that made a lot of sense. But having that plan and putting that somewhere you can see, and just knowing the behaviors that matter, it really matters in the long run, because when things pop up, you can literally just default back to the 1 to 3 behaviors you said matters the most. So no matter what happens, you're not gonna be overwhelmed thinking, "Oh, now I gotta take care of this emergency and all this is popping up and it's so much." It could be, okay, all this stuff is popping up, I'm seeing these problems and whatnot, but I can handle those things as well as doing these 1 to 3 behaviors because it's not a lot. If I'm not doing this, I'd probably be wasting my time anyway. So why not just do something that I'm gonna feel proud of, I'm gonna feel accomplished of. You feel me? And you see, I'm literally doing that right now. Like, I don't have a big following. Yeah, I've gotten paid. I've made money online, but it's not been like consistent because I don't have as big as an audience. But I'm still making videos, and it's because I know literally all I gotta do is make talking points, record videos, and upload them. It's simple. So yes, and moving up here, it was a lot, and that's why I took a little break. But even before I took a break from moving it up here, there was still so many headaches of trying to figure out a place, going and looking at places, um, figuring out, like, getting my money together, trying to get a new job, going at interviews. There were so many things, and through it all, I was still making videos up until that move. So I had all these things going on, but I still had the time to make videos because it was easy. Like, it was just, okay, record, upload, make talking points. Boom. Simple. So let me know what you're going to be doing in the comments. What actions will you be taking, and what will be your plan for that? Get your practice in right now, because that's going to make a lot of difference. And the last thing I want to get around to, the last point, is that, like I said in the beginning, you're going to face a lot of problems and challenges as an ambitious person. But depending on how gritty you are, it won't matter, because the more grit you have, the more you'll be able to endure all those losses and all these problems and all the other stuff. I think about lion, right? Lions are like the king of the jungle, but their success rate is like 21% of the time. So they deal with obstacles and problems and failures so often, and yet they don't give up. They don't quit. They continue moving forward. They're still the king of the jungle, even though they fail so many times on the hunt. They keep going until they get what they want. They're gritty. And you gotta have that type of love. And you gotta have that type of grit yourself, that level of grit, that ability to fail 21%, to succeed 21% of the time. But to say, I know it's coming, so I'm just gonna keep going no matter what comes my way. But if you lose focus every time something does come your way, which they will, and you give up and you quit, I promise where you are right now is where you're gonna be at 10 years in the future. Well, to be honest, you'll be worse, because life is always changing and it's either going up or down. And if you aren't intentionally making your life go up, by default, it will go down. So your life will actually be worse than what it is right now if you don't allow yourself to bounce back and focus back on what matters most to you. Focus on the things that will move the needle for you. Focus on the actions instead of all the heartaches and all the hardships and all the headaches coming your way. Because the only way to reach your destination is to keep moving forward no matter what. If you found this video helpful and you want more like this, go ahead and subscribe. I'll see you for the next one.